Oh, let's try this again. Yeah, my front too. I don't know. That little interruption was brought to you by the good people at Comcast. You get tackled by a football player during the game? How awesome. You were on ESPN. That's great. Awesome story. Yeah, we survived this, Darth. I don't know, a little modem glitch. Took me a minute to, I had to reboot the modem. So I don't know, that happens every once in a while. That's one of the things I kind of run into. Power can be a little sketchy and internet can be a little sketchy. Internet's usually pretty good here, though. Just every once in a while, right in the middle of a live stream. You coming up here? It's been suggested that there might be treats involved. Yeah, that got your attention, didn't it? Yeah. Kind of a slob, dude. You eat with your mouth open. Okay, that's probably enough anyway. You're fat enough again. I kind of just stayed pretty close to the hotel. I only eat 2 meals a day, so it turns out breakfast was just served at the hotel. So I just had whatever they were having. That was usually eggs and bacon or sausage or potatoes or something like that, some cereal, little OJ, blueberry muffin, typical stuff. And then for dinner, I just kind of looked around places there. There was a lot of like places to eat in the immediate area around the Alamo. So, I just saw what was there, kind of walked around and say, what looks good. Like I said before, there was a place right across the street from the Alamo called the Crockett Hotel, and they had a good bar and grill downstairs that I had ate a couple times there. I was thinking there was a Morton Steakhouse, and I seriously considered that, but that was a little bit pricey. I think the least expensive thing on the menu was $50. I mean, I could have done that, but I don't know. There's, I guess, things that I would have preferred to waste my money on. Yeah, and they had a pretty decent breakfast because it was like I said, it was eggs and bacon and potatoes and all the stuff you'd think of. I did see the bike. Yeah, that was awesome. I know. Yeah, you got to give us footage of that, Eric. Although if it belongs to ESPN, I don't know. There'd probably be all sorts of copyright issues. Yeah, I usually go pretty low key for breakfast too. But I knew I wanted to have energy because I was going to be out and about vlogging and stuff like that. So I didn't want to have to think about food for a while. Well, put it on the Facebook page, Eric, because then we can all see it. Because if it's just someone else's clip, then that isn't a problem. It's a little different me trying to pop the clip into here. I didn't pack a cooler, no. In fact, one of the things I was a little bit disappointed just in the immediate area is, and I guess this is kind of an issue when you're in like big towns and stuff like that, big cities, um, is there wasn't a grocery store nearby. And so, for the first night, I got there on a Sunday night and everything closes at Sunday night. And there was like nothing there for food. And so it's like, I'm figuring, okay, what am I going to do? It's like, I'm really hungry, but I can't even find a fast food place that's open. And, I ended up ultimately on that first night, they had like a little, almost like, a little snack area in the hotel. And I just got stuff out of there and probably not the best meal in the world. But after that, I went out and hit the grocery store and filled up because I actually had a kitchen in that place. And so, it took me a while to kind of get some of the necessities in there. It was really exciting to get inside the Alamo. Like I said, I've heard so much about it, and just it's just something that's iconic in Texas. And so I knew I had to see it. And then, there have been some interesting news stories. One about the fact that they'd acquired one of the stunt bikes from Pee Wee's Big Adventure, and that was kind of fun. And there was also a story recently where they were doing some remodeling at the San Antonio Zoo, and they found the quarry that the limestone from the Alamo came from. I like kind of, and if we're going to go in the Cheerios route, I like the Honey Nut Cheerios. That's pretty good. Okay, so Eric just posted this to the Facebook page. Let's see here. They don't make it easy to find things here. Oh, come on, it doesn't take this long to find my groups here. I won't be able to show it to you here, but oh, that's awesome. Yeah, you're definitely going to have to go onto the Facebook page. And watch it again here. That's great, Eric. That's an awesome clip. Definitely go check it out on there. There's a bunch of copyright issues, so I can't really show it here, but you got to definitely check it out. Go on the Facebook page. Yeah, I think I've tried Crispix too. I guess you really officially know you're a sports camera person when you've been tackled on the in the end zone. Well, those cameras got to be pretty tough. Yeah, and it's one thing if you're posting an official clip from the ESPN. It's quite another thing if you're exporting that clip into your own content. So I'm going to be really careful. It's on the Facebook page. Check it out if you're interested. But I can't. I don't want any copyright hits. And NFL and ESPN, they have no sense of humor about that kind of thing. I mean, I suppose I could try doing it this way here. So we can do it this way a little bit. right there, got him. So I don't know. I hope that isn't going to freak anybody out, but that was one of the cereals they had was Raisin Bran. How did the camera handle it, Eric? That would be after the is the person okay? How did the camera handle it? That's going to be great for a clip show, though, Eric. Some point, yeah. Some of the do some bloopers or something like that. Yeah, this is when I get steamrolled by a football player. That's good. Yeah, I guess those field cameras they have to be pretty tough. And I know, and I'm sure you probably do the same thing. You when you know you're going down, you're trying to protect that camera too on the way down. I don't know. I've only looked at it on my cell phone, so uh, I don't know if I had enough detail to see it. I'll have to look at it on the big screen when the live stream's over here. It's funny. I was at Baylor University just a couple days ago, and I actually got a. I was up in the press booth of all things, and got a couple photos from the field from the press booth. So I thought that was kind of fun. So that's the place right there where Eric got smeared by a football player. Yeah, it'll definitely get attention if someone's looking for somebody who's willing to get tackled at a football game. It's going to be a great story all by itself. I so wish I could show the video because it is really funny. Oh, one thing I can say for sure, internet fouls up on me. It really screws up the viewers here. Probably not the last time it'll happen either, Eric. I mean, you're down there in the end zone. They're watching that ball. That's the only thing that they're watching. And most of them weigh two times what you weigh. So that old body in motion tends to remain in motion. Body at rest tends to remain at rest until hit by a body in motion. Really quiet in here. I don't know if it'll be the next trip, but it'll happen at some point. It's going to be one of those things I'm going to get tired of procrastinating on it and I'm going to do something about it. That's sort of what happened with this San Antonio trip. I knew this pay period was going to be off for a few days, and I wanted to do something, more than just go somewhere and spend a day and come back. And I'm glad I actually made the decision to go down there and spend a couple days there because it really, kind of encouraged me to look around a little bit more. Well, we're not officially back onto work until Thursday yet, so there's vacation time going there, and like I said, if I don't use it at the end of the year, then I get reimbursed for it. So it's a nice little bonus at the end of the year if you don't use it. I like doing both camping and hotels, uh, but camping is more fun if there's someone there. It's just one person just seems like you're a homeless person. But I do like. Ever since I drove to California a few years ago, I really actually like getting out on the road. You could just see America, and you don't see it as well flying over it. See, I sort of thought of getting an RV at some point too, and I think Jordan kind of talked me out of it. He said that Adam told him that Adam had one and he didn't really like it that much, and I can understand that being an issue. What do you do with it when you're not using it? What I think it would be fun to do maybe is rent one, and that would be maybe something, then try it once to see what I think. Let's see. The hotel was, I don't know, 120 a night, I think. I paid 40 a day for the valet and then food, I don't know, do the math, probably, $30 a meal. And the Alamo, it's free to walk around the grounds, but to get into any of the buildings, to get into the museum, to get into the actual sanctuary, you got to pay for that. And that's what I would think the issue would be the gas, because unless you can get one that's relatively energy efficient, has good gas mileage or something like that. The big giant RVs, those things get 10 or 12 miles to the gallon. It's just it isn't worth it that much. I think. I mean, just um, if I get a smaller one, I wouldn't need to be able to sleep 12. I wouldn't need to have one of the ones that expand outwards once you get to your location. Just something small. I think it is on the. I mean, it would have to be on the registry of historic sites. But I mean, I've been to historic sites before and didn't have to pay $53 for a T-shirt. I don't know what the deal was with that. That was just too far out of the range. They don't even do that at Disneyland. Because see, that's something I'll do also rather than magnets is T-shirts. So that's I get T-shirts from a lot of the places I've visited. So yeah, I know that kind of surprised me too about Phil Collins. In fact, I didn't put any of it on camera, but there was one section where they had a kind of an interactive layout of the whole property of the Alamo, and different parts would light up, and Phil Collins was actually talking about the whole story about that. Yeah, the whole area around the area has been kind of turned into a mall, which kind of surprised me a little bit. Yeah, I guess he just turned into a real huge fan of the Alamo back in the '70s and started, using some of his profits from Genesis and his private or his solo career to just buy all kinds of stuff like that. You gotta love people that do stuff like that. I don't know. I'm alive. I can't speak for anyone else. You all might just be bought somewhere or just voices in my head. That's probably what this is. I'm talking to myself, and there's only 9 people in here, so apparently I'm boring to myself, and nobody usually wants to even be in here. Bad news when you bore the voices in your head, right? That I would actually believe, John. I forgot about Windex. Oh, that's my infinity mirror from the Museum of Illusions. Or at very least, a weapon of mass distraction. I know it was, yeah, it was kind of interesting to walk around the grounds and see all that. Like I said, I was a little disappointed that so much of it was gone because so much of the original fort um, was turned into like hotels and restaurants and stuff like that that are in the area. In fact, I'm fairly sure that the hotel that I stayed in was probably on what was once the grounds of the Alamo. I don't know. The area is kind of pretty. I do like the fact that there's a lot of stuff that they're doing right now to restore some of the stuff. So day starts at 4:30 in the morning and goes until the work is done at night. And I don't know. I like doing what I'm doing, and I've actually been having fun. They've been having me out in front now rather than in any of the mazes. John keeps apologizing, saying, "Oh yeah, that's not a very exciting place. You don't get the scares. I get my share of scares." Oh yeah, I was always the one with the scary music going in front of Halloween in front of my house, and it was really cool because my bedroom window was right up on the porch. Yeah, sort of. That's it. I'm a greeter. In fact, for a costume, sometime I had a rather than wearing the bloody apron, I had to get like a warm Walmart greeter apron. I don't know. I stopped doing trick or treating when I was really young. My parents thought, okay, you're too old for that. So at that point, I kind of transitioned into you know doing fun things in the front yard, putting the black lights up, putting the monsters on the porch, and that just turned into what it became when I got my first house in California, and grown into what it is now. One of the nice things about being a greeter, if that's the word we're going to use for it, is you're outside. It's still warm around here in the summer, and the building itself is made out of concrete and steel. So when the sun's baking on it during the day, it retains that heat. When you're inside, it's really hot in there. It's actually kind of nice being outside because there's more fresh air out there. There's like trees and stuff like that. So if I need to take my mask off for a minute to mop my face off or something like that, I can do that. And like I said, I got my fair share of scares. I think it's just as scary when they see the monster coming as when you get the jump scares, because that's the difference really. That's the advantage of being inside, is you get the jump scares. You jump out at them and shout boo. You know, it's more fun, I think, when they see you coming and you still can get them. Yeah, I could go crazy at Home Depot too. In fact, maybe not. I don't know if I'll get anything from Home Depot for Halloween this year, but there was something that I saw last year that I want to get maybe a couple of this year. There was these beautiful lighted trees that it had hundreds and hundreds of lights on them. They were really pretty. The only thing I really got new, and I think I showed you this in a vlog at one point. I went to Spirit Halloween and got another one of my zombie babies. I got a couple of these already, and they seem to have like new models every year. And this was the one that they had at Spirit Halloween this year, and I thought that looked really fantastic. And I love this one. The eyes light up when you hit it with a black light too. So that one's really cool. Baby eating barbed wire. That's Halloween. Absolutely, that's Halloween. See, I think the first year I did the zombie babies, I actually had them out in the front yard, uh, looking at people as they were, coming in. But last year I actually put them in the guest bedroom window and put strobe lights on them. I thought they were really creepy there too. Oh yes, oh yes. I welcome that. If you want to take pictures of my house, you know, kids love to get that kind of stuff. They'll get up there around the monsters and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. People want to take pictures of the house. It's cool. They probably should take a trip over to Home Depot just to see what they have. Seymour Butt, yeah, we need a graveyard, a gravestone that says that. No, it just happened. I happened to be in the McLean Stadium. Yeah, that's sort of what I do every year, Eric. We don't have a state income tax, so we're like Florida on that. Florida and probably a handful of other states. I think Nevada is that way too. That was definitely one of the things that attracted me here. No, I don't have to fill out state taxes every year. I got to deal with property taxes, and that's kind of fun. But yeah, a little bit higher. But I look at it this way: while property taxes are higher in Texas than they are in, say, California, property taxes are based on the value of the home. So 2% of a $300,000 house is less than 1% of a $650,000 house. So in the end, it comes out, and like I said, there's no state income tax, so that's helping. And the governor and a lot of the members of the legislature in the state are trying to reduce or even eliminate property taxes. So, or at least they're making the argument that if you're a senior citizen, if you're 65 or older, you shouldn't have to pay them. You paid enough taxes. I could live with that. Not 65 yet, but I'm getting there. Yeah, you got to have the AC on, but you get used to the heat. I just end up staying in for most of the time during that, or go out for a little bit and then cool off. It was nice. That was nice to have the pool every when I did that. You know, if you're out working in the yard, just like okay, let's pop into the pool for a minute and cool off. But no, I really don't, John. You know, the decision about what I did, what I was going to do with it, depended on a year ago's summer what was going to go on. I went that whole summer and never once made the decision. It's like, wow, I'd really like to be in the pool right now. And so once I got through that summer and didn't feel the need for the pool, it's like, why? It's over. Let's do something else there. I have been looking. They've got these little inflatable pools that are probably like the quarter size of the one I have that I could maybe use because that's basically all I did. It was fun just to kind of sit in and cool down. No, not going to probably see Kara today. This would normally be my off week. Maybe next weekend. We'll see. See, last Sunday was my day to go see Kara, but I didn't do that because I went straight to San Antonio after the live stream. It's starting to cool off of here a little bit too. We're getting into the lower 90s, even upper 80s during the day, and into the low 60s at night. So that's really nice. I haven't like moved a muscle in like 2 minutes. I wonder if people thought the screen froze or something. I don't really have any plans, short of my new zombie baby. I don't really see anything. I don't know. I might run over to Home Depot and see what they have. Actually, today I'm gonna, I think, run back to Temple. They have a what they're called Mallapalooza happening over at the Temple Mall, and I just want to see what that's all about. I've heard about it, but I've never been there when they've been doing one. So uh, that's supposedly happening today. So I'm gonna probably go do that. Maybe we'll hit Home Depot on the way back, see if they got anything that I can't live without in terms of Halloween stuff. Otherwise, it may just be my zombie baby. I still think the zombie baby is cool with the black light because her hair glows green, her eyes glow blue, her little bow on her horns kind of glows. I'm gonna have to try the rest of them because I've never shined a black light at the rest of them. I don't know. Maybe they all do that, and I just didn't notice. And it's something that they do at the mall at in Temple here. I don't know. It's got kind of, it's almost got kind of a Comic Con kind of theme to it. So I want to see what it's like. It seems to be largely driven, I think, by one of the stores in a shop called Under the Skin, which is sort of a piercing slash tattoos slash hot topic kind of themed store that has kind of a horror theme to it. And I know they kind of co-sponsor the Silo Scream, so that's kind of how it all. I learned about it. It's all kind of tied together. And like I said, I've been down to the Temple Mall a couple of times. I think this is the mall's attempt to try and uh, remain relevant because you walk through the mall, the place is basically a ghost town. Half the stores are closed up and shuttered. So I don't know. I think it's their attempt to stay relevant and stay alive. We'll see. That would be cool if she could crawl using the same kind of mechanism we were talking about for the spider crawling around the lawn. You know, map out the area of the lawn and have the baby just crawl around the lawn. Yeah, I mean, I check out the silos every once in a while just to see what's there. I mean, basically, if you know, unless you're really into the stuff that's in the stores, once you've seen it, you've seen it. I maybe am the father of it. I don't know. What should I name it? I mean, look at the eyes. Beautiful eyes. Chewing on barbed wire. It's definitely my kid. Yeah, yeah. My mom loved getting the stuff out of the silos. There was also that weird Spice Village place that I've been to a couple times. My mom's gotten stuff from there that she likes too. The only pioneer village I can think of that I've done was the one down there on the Baylor campus. It's kind of behind the Mayborn Museum. And I usually do. Actually, I've done that. I think did that once, like in the summer, and then hit it a couple times at Christmas. So if that's what you're talking about, then that's what that is. My understanding is they don't own an actual house in Waco. They own one down in Crawford, down kind of where the bushes are. Oh, okay. You're not okay. You're talking the what's it called? The Homestead Heritage is kind of if that's what we're talking about. It's a village of kind of like religious or devoutly religious people, kind of like the Amish, but without the hang up about technology. And there's a bunch of artisans and stuff like that. I think that's what you're talking about. That's the Homestead Heritage Village. Because I've been there a few times too. Been to their sorghum festival, and I go to one of the guys that lives in the village there to have my clocks repaired. I went all the way down to Lampasas to have that one repaired. He said it was going to take a year. It took him 16 months to fix it, and it still doesn't work right. But I brought other clocks to him, and he kept them for a week and got them working again. So and it's way easier to drive to Homestead Heritage. That's only 15 miles from here. Um, Lampasas is about 50 miles. I've had good results with ribs in the Instant Pot, but I did the whole thing in the Instant Pot. I didn't have to finish them in the oven. Yeah, just look them up. I think I found them on Facebook, but I know they have like a weekly swap meet kind of thing on Sundays. I've been down there a couple times, and they have their sorghum festival, and that's kind of fun. I'll tell you, there was something I saw down there once at the glassmakers that I really, really liked and was thinking I'd like to commission the artist to do something for these two front windows here. Something that would allow me to, because one of the few things I don't like about this house is there's not a lot of light. And there's the potential for light in front of me, but it's shining outside into the front yard. And I don't know, there's a lot of people when I'm out walking at night, it kind of creeps me out. They leave their front windows open. You can see them inside. That would just creep me out. I'd like to get the light to come in, but not have to, lose the privacy. And this guy did like this stained glass window that had kind of almost a flame kind of appearance to it. and it wasn't cheap. The little pieces he had were pretty expensive. So I'm sure a custom piece, let alone two custom pieces, would be pretty pricey. But they would be awesome in the front window to allow the natural light in, and yet maintain the privacy. I've been using Stubbs barbecue sauce. That's really good. Well, that's it. Like I said, the examples the guy had in the store was like oranges and reds, so it looked like flame. But I was thinking like cooler colors, like blues and greens. Yeah, it would all be a matter of what I'd be willing to pay for. I don't know. It's just one of those things. I'm always thinking the future. I've got like 12 different projects that are like way in the far future if I ever get to them. One of the things I thought would be fun would be to have like have all the rain gutters in the yard output into one area, and then like have a river run through the yard out to the street to channel all rainwater away. Be one of those things that would only be active when it's raining. That's true, Lindex, and yeah, I mean, I was like, I got all sorts of ideas of what I'd love to do. What I'd really love to do is rip out the lawn in the front yard and put all sorts of like native plants in the front yard, the kind of things that are native to the area and do well under the conditions. Yeah, right now what I do, Gene, is I just keep the blinds closed most of the time. I open them up to allow natural light in when I'm doing the live streams. Otherwise, I tend to look red. I have a nice front yard. Yeah, there's actually two major halves of the front yard because there's one side on one side of the walkway going up to the door that is just it gets a total sun all the time because there's no trees, and then the sun on the side on the other side has three pecan trees on there, and that kind of remains in shade. So I'm looking at taking over the area that gets the full sun. Yeah, I haven't really been thinking that much about a spa in the backyard. Maybe, like I said, I'm thinking at some point I may get one of those inflatable swimming pools. They're just nice to be able to soak in, but you can you know, deflate them and drain them and all that. And I don't know. I think that would be nice. Yeah, my blinds kind of work that way too. You know, it's the typical ones where you open it, where you twist it, and the louvers kind of go like that. But you can also pull them up and allow light in there. In fact, I did that at one point on the one over here because I'd leave it up about that much from the bottom because Bite loved to go and stand in front of the window and look outside. But he doesn't do that much anymore. Well, that was one of the things I ran into with the Doughboy pool that came with the house. I had to put about 100 gallons of water in it a week just because of evaporation. Anyway, I think it's time for me to head on over to Mallapalooza. Let's see what that's all about, and we'll pick this up again next week. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you next time. Good night.